Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Homebuilt Workshop. Hope you're all doing awesome. How are we doing this morning? As we get settled in here, what do you guys have going on? What are we up to? It's an interesting Wednesday morning here, mainly because we're a little cooler today, which is kind of nice. I kind of welcome it. We've had a little bit of rain the last couple of days. I'll take it. It's a nice little change from 900 degrees. How's everybody doing? Terry's here. Terry's here. Beats me. Says, hello, Jeff. Hello, all. Terry, good morning. Bright and early. Right on. Robert's here. Says, howdy, howdy, howdy. Rick's here. Hi, Jeff and chat. What is going on? What's up, Robert? What's up, Rick? How we doing this morning? Very cool. Let's see here. We'll get kind of situated. Let me get this set here. I need the chat. I clicked away and I lost the chat. Okay, there we go. We got it back. Right on, right on. Rick's having coffee. Rick, coffee cheers. I'm going to have a little coffee too. Hope you guys all have a, I don't know, drink of choice, whatever it is. Mine's always coffee. Almost always in the morning. Cheers. Super good. What's everybody up to? How's things been going? Feels like it's been a year since we hung out, even though it really hasn't. It's only been, well, the normal week. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Let's see. Rick's got some Folgers here. Right on, Folgers. Mine's Maxwell House. I'm not really, doesn't matter to me, as long as you're having coffee. I'm down with any of it. Well, I mean, almost any of it. Tony's got a comment here. Tony, that is, I'm going to remove that comment. I'm sorry that this is not the place for that. So we're trying to keep it workshop related. We're not getting into any of that stuff, okay? So anyway, Sam's here. Right on, Sam. What's going on? Sam says, hello, everyone. I said it earlier, but for some reason, it's being deleted by my tablet. What? That is weird. Huh. I don't know. Sam, what's going on? How's everybody over in the UK this fine morning? Afternoon, I guess, for you? Terry says it's a coffee morning. Yes, it is. Right on. And Robert's getting some coffee, too. Man, yes. It's coffee morning. I like it. I like it. What's the date? August 27th. Coffee morning. National Coffee Morning Day. It is super good. I made sure to save this. I did wake up a little bit earlier, and I finished my other cups of coffee early. But I said, you know what? I got to save this. Otherwise, I'll have nothing to drink while we're hanging out. Right on. Paul's here. Paul says, greetings, everyone. Drinking Alka-Seltzer because my coffee seemed to upset my stomach this morning. Also, it was Folgers. Paul, sorry, your stomach. Coffee upset your stomach. That's what I'm trying to say. Hope you get to feeling better. Right on. That's never good. Never good. Dastardly Dave. What's up, Dave? Dave says, sup, all. Sup, Dave? How we doing this morning? Right on. Dave, did you, I'd have to check the tracking. Did you get the shedder? Let me know. Rick says, how you been, Jeff? I missed some of the live streams. Rick, we're doing good. We are doing good. Been really busy around here the last week or two, couple weeks. And yeah, it's just been super busy. Finally, as of like yesterday, feeling sort of like I'm caught up on stuff. And I'll get to that shortly, show you where we're at. But yeah, we've been doing good, man. Just been busy with stuff, and our weather the last few days has been really nice too. A welcome change, getting some rain, some moisture. It's just been super good. So yeah, Rick, how about yourself? How have you been? Robert says coffee of choice here is the Folgers Black Silk. Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple times, and I gotta try it. I've never tried that, so I don't know. I might have to pick me up a small container of it next time I go to the store. I am all for trying lots of different stuff, different brands, different roasts, different flavors, even to an extent. But mainly I just buy that, whatever I can get in a giant can, because I go through, we go through so much, and buying the smaller packages. Like, I really like the Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I know we're not specifically talking about coffee, but hey, we're gonna mix it up. I like the Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but I can't buy it in a large quantity to where the price, when you buy the bigger containers, the price is better, right, per unit, and it's more expensive. So, but I like to try it here and there. As long as I can buy it in the big can, I'm good. And so we'll have to see. Harry Dude says, what's up? Hello all, Harry Dude, what's going on? Right on. Harry Dude, how's everything down in Australia? Rick says, cool. Terry, coffee, yes. Dasherly Dave says, got the horse tool fine. Still have to give it to the kid to use on 2 horses. Right on. I'll be awaiting to hear the feedback. Let's see. Sam, super chat, Sam. Right on, Sam. Sam says, towards coffee or just the packaging for the coffee with today's prices. Yeah, it's true. That's all I'm saying on that. Yeah. I mean, it's everything, right? It's not just coffee. It's everything. But anyway, cheers, Sam. Thank you. Appreciate that. We got to keep this mug full. Rick says, been busy working on my MIDI, Captain. So much to learn. Right on. Terry says, dark roast is the only way to go. I do like some dark roast, but I also like medium roast. Not as much light roast. I find if I have a light roast, I end up putting in like a couple extra scoops to make it darker. So then it's like, what's the point? I'm just sort of wasting the light roast. Dastardly Dave says, finished contest guitar, heading to Texas Toast soon. Nice, Dave. You're going to be in the area. Right on. Let me know. I don't know if I can get up to Denver or not. Maybe. That's cool. Robert says, not a coffee snob, so whatever works for the person drinking it, that's what counts. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not really a coffee snob. I just don't like the super expensive, like, coffee shop coffees as much. Like, I don't do Starbucks or anything like that. It's just not my thing. I'd much rather just do a regular old drip coffee. I don't need anything fancy. I don't need, like, little cinnamon hearts or whatever on the top of my coffee. Yeah. Yeah, as long as it's a cup of coffee, it's fine with me. Even instant. I don't care. Right on. Well, let's see. What the heck have we been working on here? Well, kind of the same old. Except I just finished pretty much everything for the plaques. I even brought one out here to show you. So this is like the last one. It's all done. I've got all of these things finished. I finished assembling the last one yesterday. And actually it would have been done on Monday, but as I was assembling the last one, I noticed I don't know, it was a speck of dirt, or I don't know what it was in there, but there was something in the finish, so I had to sand it down and respray it. And then yeah, now it's all done. That's got something in it right there. I might be respraying this one. But anyway, that's it. Wrapped them up. I did send an email to the customer saying, hey, we're all done. You got any others that we need to throw in last minute? Because that's what happened last year. I had a couple extras that got tacked on right at the end. But otherwise, those things are done. Those are done. Super happy with the way they turned out. And kind of nice to be done too. Well ahead of the game. Heritage says, the universe is teasing me. Ordered a CNC and some bits from separate places. The bits have arrived, waiting on the machine itself. Should be here later today, my time. Right on. That's awesome, Harry Dude. Yeah, if you got any jams or questions or whatever along the way, anything I can lend a hand with, don't hesitate to ask. I don't claim to be an expert on any of it, but I've been down that road though. Robert says Starbucks always tastes burnt to me. Don't like it. Yeah, I don't either. I don't. That's just the flavor. Almost every single coffee shop coffee that I've had outside of Dunkin' Donuts coffee to me tastes burnt. Like there's some local coffee shops here that people rave and rant and rave about. It's not great. It all tastes burnt. Anyway, Robert says, cool, plaques look good. Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Paul says, not a Folgers guy. Usually drink Civic coffee. Not bad. After Effects, pricey, but very good coffee. Civet coffee, he says. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I just buy whatever I can get in a large can. Usually it's Maxwell House. Doesn't matter to me. So yeah, so been working on plaques pretty much nonstop. I did finally get a video together. Finished editing it yesterday, covering a little bit of the plaques, and also talking about these guys. I've been working on this stuff too, the shedders that I showed you last week. So we got some packaging, we got some labels made, got all that ready to go, and a little stand, 3D printed stand, of course. So this holds the small, medium, and large. I guess you could put the three of them the same on there, but yeah, been working on these, just trying to work out some display type stuff because I got to there's a couple more local shops that I want to take some of these over to. So just been kind of working on these, working on some printing. Somehow I ended up plugging up the print head in my printer yesterday. Pretty bad. I found a roll of filament that I've had for a long time. Some ABS, because I use ABS to print these. It's not a filament I've used before. I've used their PLA way back on my old printer. But this was a roll of ABS. I don't even know where I got it. I don't remember ordering it, but maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I thought, well, I could use this up if I can get it to print on here. Normally I've been using the bamboo filament and some certain ones from Matter Hackers. Not sponsored, but I do like the Matter Hackers stuff. But I decided, well, I'm going to put this roll of ABS in the printer. And I did a little test print. It seemed like it was going to work okay. Kind of played around with the settings because, all of them are a little bit different. That's kind of why I've been using the bamboo branded filament, because they have profiles already loaded. It makes it really easy to be able to use their filament because the settings are already there. I don't have to mess around. But this one I had to mess around a little bit. And I think what happened was once I started printing for, longer than, just a short, 10, 20 minute test print, I think I had the nozzle temperature way too high and it was, I don't know, burning it inside the head. This is the only thing I can come up with. And over time, after, I don't know, an hour, really, hour or two, over time, it seems like that's when it would plug up. And I didn't know that it had stopped printing until the print was done, and I only had a quarter of the print. So I had to take it all apart. I had to do a cold pull to try to get the filament out of there, and I use the little cleaning tip and all kinds of stuff, and it was a disaster. And then it wasn't until then that I started really investigating the temperatures, and I was way above what the recommended temperature was for this particular brand. So I finally got it cleaned out. I'm running another print right now with a known good filament, and then I'm going to do another test print with this other brand because it's almost an entire full roll, so I don't want to waste it. But man, I couldn't believe how bad that it was jammed up. Like nothing would come out of there. It was pretty crazy. Terry says, yeah, Robert, Starbucks doesn't know how to roast coffee. Paul says, might send you some of the Civic coffee if you promise to try it. Paul, I would try any coffee. Yeah, I'm not against any of it. That's not the mushroom stuff, is it? Is that what I'm thinking of, or am I thinking of something different? I'd totally try it. Hair Dude says, thanks, dude. Learning the design software is a mission, but I'm getting there. Right on. What software are you going with, Harry Dude? Paul says, you like them. That is all that matter, hackers. Yeah, have you guys ever bought, those of you that do 3D printing, you've ever bought from Matter Hackers? The first time I heard about them, I'm like, that is the weirdest name. Like, it's, I don't know. Sometimes the name to me, right, gives me a weird first impression. And that's what I got with this. I'm like, that's just a silly name. Like, I don't know. It doesn't even sound like a legit company. But I'm telling you, those dudes over there are great. And I highly recommend them. And I've been using their Matter Hackers, their MH build series of filaments. I've used all different kinds. Their ABS, their PLA, their I don't know. I've used a bundle of their stuff, and they are legit. So if you've heard the name and you've got the same first impression that I got, they are totally great. The thing that sold me on them was one time I ordered a roll of their filament, and I started using it. This is before I had the bamboo printer, right? I was using my Ender 3, and I was printing something, and the roll was stuck. Like it didn't unwind correctly. It's like I don't know if it was hot. I don't. Anyway, the spool was kind of sticking. It wouldn't feed. So I emailed them, and I said, hey, this seems to be sticking together for some reason. I don't know why. And they just said, hey, send us the, picture of like the batch number or whatever that's all on the label. And so I did. And they said, we're sending you overnight shipping a replacement roll. And then just said, keep the other roll. But it was that little piece of customer service that impressed me. And I'm like, okay, these dudes are awesome. So I try to order from them as much as possible. I do order now that I have the bamboo. I get a lot of it right from bamboo, but what I don't get from bamboo definitely comes from Matter Hackers. That's the only two places at this moment in time that I order any filament from. They're super great. Robert says there's a couple coffee shops in Stillwater that have really good, expensive. They have 3 locations in Stillwater. It's called Aspen Coffee Company. Just too rich for my pocketbook. That's almost all coffee shops for me. I know what I can make a giant pot of coffee for, and for that same cost, I mean, yeah, it's just not worth it. Like, it costs me, if you go and you buy 2 coffees, maybe a coffee and a hot cocoa, you're about at the cost of buying a giant can. It's crazy. And I can drink coffee for weeks for the same amount of money. Paul says, most of the chain coffee stands sell flavored sugar waters with very little coffee in them. No thanks. Yes, I agree. Heritage says, I've used Ender filament on my bamboo without any issues using the generic PLA profile. Oh, the the Creality filament? Yeah, I've used some of theirs before too. Yeah, I've actually gotten into now, Harry Dude, creating my own profiles for specific filaments. In the bamboo software, right? You can check which filaments. There's the generic stuff, and then there's a few different name brands, and then there's all the bamboo brands. Well, I've created my own profiles after doing, like, I would do the automatic calibration process, and then I would save that calibration process as a new filament. That way I could say minor things like Matter Hackers PLA, 0.4 nozzle kind of thing, Matter Hackers ABS, and then it automatically loads that when it doesn't automatically because it doesn't have the little, what is that thing, NFC tag. But I can load that preset and it's already there. I've already got my temperatures that I've gone through and set, and basically saving these custom presets. Because I did use the generic profiles quite a bit and have had pretty good luck. But now that I've sort of fine-tuned a few of these, especially since I've been 3D printing these things so much, I've got most of these, like I said, are bamboo filaments, but there's a couple that I couldn't get certain colors right from Bamboo that I ordered from Matter Hackers. Those I did custom profiles for, and it's actually worked out really well. And since I just realized that this other mystery roll that I'm using right now, since I've got that fine-tuned, I also created another profile specific for this one. I probably will never use it again once this roll's done, but that way I don't mix everything up. It's been working out pretty good. Sam says, when I sent a super chat, YouTube double slapped me with adverts. YouTube needs to stop this. It's ripping people off who paid for supers. Yeah, a simple delay after sending supers would fix this. That is so weird, Sam, and I don't have any control over that. I'm sorry that that's going on. It's just weird. I don't understand it. Now I know that do you see that on other channels as well, the same behavior? Because that's totally weird. And I don't know if there's anything else I can do. Harry Dude's learning Milmage? New software from Lightburn. Really? Does design right through to sending, controlling the machine itself. One-stop shop, so to speak. I'm going to have to look into that. Because I use Lightburn myself. Interesting. I've not heard of that. Milmage? Huh. Interesting. Robert says, Aspen Coffee Company. Coffee is good flavor. They also have some good cinnamon rolls as well. I do like a good cinnamon roll. Heritage says, had filament stick to itself on the roll. Had to dry it in the oven to rejuvenate it for use. Yes. Maybe that's what was going on with this roll. I have recently bought a dryer, a filament dryer, because I did experience some printing issues. And yes, you can dry in my 3D printer, but I did purchase a dryer. So this is turning into a whole disaster, actually. So about a month ago, I think, I purchased a dryer. It's one made by Creality. It's that Space Pie, it's a 2-space dryer, right? Because I wanted, with all this stuff coming in, I wanted it to be able to dry the ABS before I start printing with it, because I have noticed a difference. So I ordered their dryer. I load 2 rolls in there. I start it up, brand new out of the box. And I get an error code on the screen. Ah, that's weird. So I turn the machine off, turn it back on, and I start it up again. 10-15 minutes into the drying process, error code. What in the world? So I take one roll out, and I start it, and the drying cycle finishes. I put 2 rolls in again, and I start drying. Error code. So I contact support. This is like 2 days past after I got it. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm getting this error code. And, of course, they ask the whole question, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you running it this way? I'm like, yeah, I'm following the instructions to a T, right? So they said, well, send pictures, send a video of the error code. So I do that. I send the pictures and the video and all that nonsense. And they said, well, we've had this problem before, which by then I'd already looked it up online and I've seen other people with this issue. And they said, well, you need a new main control board. So we're going to send you one. Okay. So they sent me the new board. So now, I don't know, I've had it for maybe 2 weeks. Barely been able to run it because of the error code. I've been running, sort of a one roll at a time, and it sort of kind of works that way. So I have to take this brand new machine apart, change out this control board. I put it back in, and I load 2 rolls in there because it seems like for some reason it only errors out when I'm running 2 rolls, and it works fine. I'm like, okay, cool. So it really was fixed. So then I run 2 more rolls in there. Runs fine. Nice. Problem solved. So up until then, I'd been saving all the packaging. I'm like, because I already told them, I'm sending this back if this continues to be an issue. Seems like it's fixed. I throw away the packaging. Yeah, you can guess where this is going. Trash comes, everything's hauled off. The trash is gone. I load 2 more rolls in there. Error code. I email Creality back. Hey, error code still. I sent them a video. I sent them pictures. And now they're offering to replace it, which, okay, that's fine. But now this time they want me to send them the dryer first, then they'll send me a new one. I'm like, nope, not doing it. Send me the new one. I'll use the packaging from the new one to send you the old one back. And this was literally last night. It's like become this whole fiasco. The stupid dryer is not even, it's less than $100. It's not expensive. I should have just sent it back to begin with, but anyway, it's been a disaster. So I don't know what's going to come of it. But if you're looking to get a dryer, I at this point cannot recommend the Creality dryer. Now I may have just gotten a bad unit, I don't know, but this is kind of ridiculous. So far, I haven't had any issues like with their service, right? Other than the fact that it takes, forever for them to get back to you because, we're on like completely opposite time zone sort of thing. But yeah, frustrating. But yeah, sorry, I got off on a tangent there, but because Harry Dude mentioned the dryer. But yeah, I've done that as well. But I should have tried that way back when, but I didn't have a dryer at the time, nor did I have the X1. So yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of it, I think. Paul says, Sam, I use the Brave browser. No ads. No ads. I use Brave as well. We're also, Homebrew Workshop's a Brave Rewards verified creator. So if you use Brave Rewards, you can go to Homebrew Workshop website, click the little thing at the top, and send like a donation or whatever through of Brave Rewards. Sam says all channels. Okay, so it's not just us. Here it says Firefox with uBlock Origin, Android, PC, and Mac. Not sure about iOS. Paul says use a tablet in general for watching YouTube. It's got control limits. Uses the app by default. Oh, gotcha. Paul says gotcha. I heard it says don't use the YouTube app, use a browser. Oh yeah, that makes sure because the browser is what's going to give you the ad control. Sam says the tablet, the app is faster than the browser. Unless you're using my old first generation iPad mini, which is by the day getting slower and slower. I use it to literally, the only thing I do with it is I use it to watch YouTube videos. Usually in the evening, I'll watch a couple videos. That poor old thing. I can't use the app anymore because the iOS software won't update anymore on the iPad. So then since it won't go past a certain version, then the YouTube app won't work because it needs to see a certain version of iOS. So now I use the browser to go right to YouTube, but even that is getting slower and slower and slower. So it's kind of annoying. That's one reason, Paul, that I'm not an iOS fan. Because they just stop. They just stop updating. And yeah, I don't know. Windows probably does the same thing, but I've not encountered that. My poor iPad. Anyway. Robert says, if any of the people watching seen or used Pixelogic ZBrush software, I have heard of ZBrush, but I have not used it. I've heard good stuff about it, actually. Sam says I use a Samsung Galaxy Tab. It's old now, but I won't ditch it until it's broken. Yes, that's why I still use my old iPad. I mean, it's almost broken, but it's not actually broken. It still works, sort of. Very slow, but just for watching YouTube videos? Yeah, I don't need to go buy a new one. Robert says it's a 3D modeling software. Yes. Heritage says Milmage. Milmage. Same editing front end as Lightburn, CNC back end with tools, operations, simulation, and machine control. That is pretty cool. I've got to check into that. Yeah, right on. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's awesome. Robert says it can do some really amazing 3D models can be used for animations as well. That's what I have heard. Yes. I've talked to some people that. Well, I used to know a guy. I was one of the parents at my daughter's school. They might still go there. I don't really know. But he was, at least for a while, a 3D designer, animator, or something like that, and he would use ZBrush for different things, and I forget what all else. But some pretty cool stuff he would use. Paul says, I have an original iPod Touch that has all my songs on it for playing music. Nothing else works on it due to age of device iOS version. Wife gave it to me when we were dating almost 15 years ago. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, when did I get this iPad? It must have been 2014-ish? Somewhere around there? 13? I don't think it was 12. Had to be 14. So it's only 11 years old. That should be well within its lifespan, right? Let's see. Sam says UK can't order much from the US. Delivery services are having issues with US. I can't. I like to say on this channel, it's not the place. It's a recent thing though. I've heard something about that, Sam. I just that there was some shipping something or other. That's literally all I know. Yeah, like Paul said, heard about that affecting orders in Europe. Sorry, man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it sucks or whatever. Out of my hands. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Sam, thank you though for saying, it's not quite the place. Yeah. It's not, but it is an issue, right? And it's something that we got to deal with. Kind of sucks. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, my printer just finished up. Let's see how this print goes, and then I'm going to load in this mystery roll that plugged up the print head, and hopefully my new custom profile will work. Anyway, so back to this stuff with the plaques done. Shedder's on the way. Whew, I'm kind of feeling like I've kind of caught up 3 weeks-ish, 2.5 weeks on these plaques. Yeah, probably almost 3 weeks. 3 weeks, probably. It's kind of nice to be done with them. Maybe a couple of stragglers that I'll have to knock out yet. That's not a big deal. Oh, but I wanted to show, I know I showed these last year, but I'm trying to get this in the light where it shows up. You see the accents on this center? Like the gold. That's like my favorite part of the whole thing. That's where it actually like brings the thing to life. Like it looks cool when it's just a 3D print, but once it's painted and then accented with that gold, like it's so cool. And it's when you look at that, you're like, are you kidding me? That's 3D printed? Yes, it is. It's super cool. Paul says, gotta pull a Jeff this weekend and make a picture frame for a pic for the wife. Use a variant of the jig you use for cutting them. Very nice jig. I love that picture frame jig. Not my design. And I made that pretty clear, I think, in the video. But the one with the sliding thing and the square, yes. That works so good. That is a design that I got from David Picciuto. I don't know if it's his design. I think it is. But it works great. And it's one of those things that, man, I wish I'd have thought of that design because it works so good. So, yeah, picture frames, like, they're super good. So that's awesome. Yeah, I enjoy making picture frames, really. But I like to try, I've got I don't know, quite a few different videos, different methods and different joinery and different, all kinds of different ways. And yeah, so that's awesome. That's awesome. Sam asks, do you make guitars? Uh-oh, what have I done? I clicked something. I hope you guys are still there. I've clicked something. There you go. So, do you play them much? It's a shame if not, but if you do, then fantastic. Yes, Sam, I do play guitar. I have played guitar since probably 1995. Wow, 30 years? Yeah. Yeah, I have. I've played guitar for a long time. Um, I did. I started learning in probably 95-ish. 3. I know, it was before that. 92, 3? I don't know. I've played guitar for over 30 years. Let's just go with that. Um, yeah, so that's really kind of what sparked my interest in wanting to build a guitar, right? So way back when, all I had was a classical style nylon string acoustic guitar. My uncle had given it to me to learn on. My uncle taught me the first few chords, and that's what I used. I didn't learn classical fingerstyle guitar. I just played it on a classical nylon string guitar. So this is gonna be a hopefully short story, but it'll give you some history. So I'd learned a handful of chords, and I learned a little bit of playing, a little bit of finger picking kind of stuff, like Travis picking, if you're familiar with that style. I can do a little bit of that. But it wasn't until about 90... Oh, man, this must have been earlier. That must have been around 1990, when I got that guitar. And it was probably 92 or 3-ish. The place we lived at the time, the guy that lived next door, older guy, built guitars. This is the early 90s. And he had given me a body that he had built. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew I had this cool body, and I needed a neck. But at the time I was, I don't know, like my daughter's age probably. And so that it always stuck in the back of my head. I wish I still had that body, but unfortunately I haven't seen that thing in the same amount of time. But at that time, like, he showed me some of the guitars that he built, and it kind of set that bug in the back of my head that, oh wow, you can build your own, like, if you know what you're doing. Well, a couple years later, I'd come across an article and I can't find this. And if any of you know how to help find this, it was an article in either Popular Mechanics or Popular Science. I don't know which one. If you guys remember those magazines, I feel like it was Popular Mechanics, but I'm not sure. And it was how to build a guitar. It was a Strat style guitar, and the guitar that they were even building was, I think, red. I think it was a red Strat with a white pickguard, your normal Strat style stuff. But they had plans in there. And of course, I was, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. I'm like, oh, I got to save these plans, because my grandpa always had these things. So I remember making copies. I don't even remember how I made copies of these plans, but I did somehow. And I kept these plans for a long time. I wanted to build a guitar. Well, if we fast forward quite a few years, I move out here, I'm playing in bands, and, like, really, really into the music stuff. But deep in the back of my head, I still wanted to build a guitar. Never got to. Well, then I started into the, doing some YouTube stuff and doing some more woodworking while I'm still playing in the band. And I've gotten a few tools and things by now, and I thought, you know what? Well, by then, my grandpa had passed away, and I salvaged a bunch of boards from more timbers, I guess, from his barn, and brought those out here with me. And I got to thinking, man, that would be cool to have a guitar made out of there. And that's when I decided that I'm going to build a guitar out of his timbers. And that's exactly what I did. Actually, I have a couple of them that are built out of some material that he had. And yeah, I definitely play them. And it's turned into quite the, it's been quite the journey, actually. So that was a long-winded way of me answering your question, Sam. Yes, I absolutely play my guitars. I almost exclusively play my own guitars now. The reason I started getting further into it was because I'm a lefty. And if you're familiar with the left-handed instrument market from the big companies, they don't offer all the options. You can't get it in all the colors, at least for a lot of the brands. you might get a black one, and that's probably about it. I got tired of that. So being able to build my own, I can build what I want in the color I want, and it's been really cool. Alrighty. Sorry that was long-winded, but now you know a little bit more of the history. Paul says, when I first made it, I forgot to turn off the brake on my saw and cost me $150. So the lessons we teach ourselves. Oh no, yes. He tripped the saw stop. Darn it. Sam says, if you got a portable corner vise, I got one. It's a generic brand though. What do you mean by a portable corner vise? I've got a vise that's mounted on a piece of wood that I can pull up and clamp to the table. That's handy here and there for different things. Paul says, I'm the slacking luthier who makes guitars but doesn't play. It's not slacking, Paul. Not at all. I actually know quite a few people that don't really play, but they build. They may be amazing builders, but not much for playing. Sam says, go and pluck a few G strings. You're allowed. Bow, bow, bow. On the guitar. You're going to get slapped if you don't. Terry says, don't forget the thumbs up. Terry, bam. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for that. Hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. And if for some reason you've become unsubscribed from the channel, make sure you're subscribed again. I've heard of that being a thing. Robert says, way back in '76, when I was still in high school, one of the students in woodshop built a body for a Strat-style guitar. I'm not sure if he built the neck or just had one from another source. Yeah, that's sort of what I did for the first one. The first two I built were, I built the bodies and bought the neck. So the very first one, which actually was the original Barncaster, that's the one that I built from my grandpa's timbers. Actually, the second one I built from my grandpa's barn timbers as well. But the first one's a regular Strat or Telly style, standard Telly kind of neck. And the second one was also a Telly style body with a baritone Telly neck. So yeah, it was super cool. Paul says, I exclusively play with my own guitars. Also, not play, just play with. Heritage says, the danger of playing guitar as a tech who repairs them for a living, I come across guitars that I think, I want one of these. Not good for the gear acquisition syndrome. I can imagine that, Harry Dude. Yes. You get to mess with stuff that you don't normally get to mess with. And yeah. Which reminds me, I was going to try to have an update on those goofy Strats with the dead pickups and the no wires and all that stuff. But I wasn't able to touch base with my buddy. Those are still over at his place. Well, as of last week, they were still over at his place. I don't know if he's gotten any information. I need to ask him and find out. I will make that a point to have an update for you guys for next week. And then we'll go from there. Because I'm trying to follow this as well, because it did start out here with me. And yeah, it's been quite the process. But yeah, I totally can see that, Harry Dude. You get some cool stuff in, you're like, oh man, this thing's super nice. And then you got to give it back to the customer, and you're like, nah, yeah, I got to get me one of those. Robert says, don't remember if I ever saw the finished guitar, but I do remember what he made. Looked good. Paul says, I sold 2 guitars this week. Dun, 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 dun. Right on. Congrats, Paul. That's awesome. Now I'm going to have to build some replacements. Yes. Robert says, done did the thumb thing. Shoot. Oh, Sam says it's a vise that clamps 2 sides simultaneously, such as picture frame. Has a single twist grip mechanism that pushes in the corner. I know exactly what you're talking about now that you mentioned that. Yes. It's the triangle deal, and you tighten it up, and it, whoop, you know, just like that. Makes those noises. Yeah, I do not have one of those, Sam. No, but I know exactly 100% what you're talking about. Absolutely. Sam says, congratulations, Paul. Yeah, that's awesome. Well done. Well done. What else did I have? I had to ship a 3D printed radius block yesterday. Had one of those go out on order. So I got that printed. Actually turned out really good. Printed really nice. I don't know what the difference was between this one and all the other ones. The other ones all turned out fine, but this one looked exceptionally well. Maybe it's because I just put a brand new nozzle on the printer because I'd plugged the other one. But yeah, got that out of here. That was pretty cool. Actually, that was an Etsy sale. I don't even push the Etsy store because I'm on the fence whether or not I even want to keep it. But and then right when I'm about to close it down, then I get an order. So I don't know. Etsy shop's still there for now. Heritage says, case in point today, cheap Cort acoustic, thin body, retails here in Australia for less than $500. Once set up, it was so nice to play. I'd totally gig with it. I like Cort. I have had, what have I had? Cort acoustic, I think, but mainly a Cort bass. The first bass that I actually owned was a Cort, super nice wood grain, kind of it probably wasn't walnut. It might have been walnut, but it looked like a walnut body. It was a super nice looking bass. It was a 5-string, and the only downside was it was a righty, and I bought it brand new as a righty and had the shop flip it over. This is before I messed with a whole lot of that stuff. Like probably literally 20 years ago, something like that. I bought this thing because I just wanted a bass. I wanted something I could just pick up and mess around with, not because I was going to gig with it or anything. So I had the shop flip it over, and yeah, I had it for years and years, and I finally sold it. Once I started building guitars, I sold it, set it back up for righty, sold the bass, and yeah, that forced me to not have a bass. So then I had to build my own. But yeah, I like Cort stuff. Drizzy Guitars is here. What's up, Drizzy Guitars? What's on your workbench? What you working on, and how you doing this fine Wednesday morning? Right on. Sam says Etsy is a Chinese company as far as I know. Really? Interesting. That I don't know. Robert says, I've seen some frame clamps that have 4 corners and a strap to tighten all 4 corners at the same time. I have a strap clamp like that, and it just has corner supports at each corner, and then you kind of reel it in like a fishing reel, and then you use the hand crank to tighten it all down. I have one of those. That's what I use to glue up picture frames and all that. It works so good. So good. I almost want to get another one, but I don't make enough frames most of the time to warrant that. But I do have one, and it works really well. I think it's a Bessie. Mine's a Bessie brand. Yeah. Paul says, never sold anything on Etsy. The 2 guitars were actually sold on eBay and Facebook. And surprise, they didn't try to talk me down. That is awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what happened with the bass. When I sold the Subtonic, 2 months ago? Whenever it was, I sold that, and it literally, the sale just came in. And like, I was like, sweet, no messages, no nothing. So yeah, it's always nice when you just get to just do a nice clean sale. Customer pays, you ship them the guitar, boom, done. That's super awesome. Right on. Yeah, I'm always been on the fence on Etsy, right? There's a certain air about it that I'm not a fan of. Just the kind of, I don't know, cutesy, crafty kind of vibe. And I don't know. I hesitantly started the store, the Etsy shop. And I've sold a handful of things on there. Not a lot, but it's covered the fees. I don't know. So I don't know. What I don't like is just having to manage a bunch of different platforms, right? I only have so much room in my brain. You know what I'm saying? And trying to manage, now several different websites, several different Facebook pages, several different YouTube channels. And then you got these other selling platforms. It's really tough. Really tough for me to keep everything relevant. Sam says, Jeff can make frames to frame people. Shall I frame you? I'll frame you, Sam. No, I won't. Heritage says, from Wikipedia, Etsy Inc. is an American e-commerce company. That's what I thought. I mean, I thought Etsy was U.S. company, but who knows who buys stuff out and takes stuff over? I don't know. Robert says, one of the best frames I ever made had one corner that was almost a quarter inch longer than any of the others. The strange thing about it was all four corners fit together perfectly. Interesting. So, that's weird. Yeah. So I would imagine like the only way that's possible is if the angle is off in equal manners. You know what I'm saying? That would allow it to. No, if only one side was longer. I don't know. I got no explanation. But that's cool though. They all fit together. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I got no explanation for you there, Robert. Oh, do you guys remember? Hang on, I got to grab this. I just saw these sitting there, and I just wanted to give an update. Do you remember, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, I was talking about I wanted to order tips for spray cans because the finish that I've been using on these plaques has been kind of weird. You remember that? Well, I don't think it's the tips. After completing these plaques, first off, I determined that it would be difficult to buy just tips because there's all different styles. They got some that have a hollow here, some that have a little centerpiece. They're all different. But what I notice is I think there's something up with the pickup tube or something inside there, because it seems like when you start with a brand new can, it sprays good for about a minute, and then once the level gets down, it doesn't pick up right and it starts spraying funny. But if you shake it around and then spray, it works sort of okay. So unfortunately, I think they've changed something inside the can that makes it not spray worth a darn. Because I was going to, like I said, I was going to look for nozzles because I thought it was the nozzles. I don't think it is. I think they've changed something in there. And I played around with warming the cans, like we talked about, I think it was last week. Played around with, warming them a little bit, warming them a lot. One I warmed way too much, and it literally blew this little red thing on the tip. It blew that right out of there as soon as I started spraying. It was a little bit terrifying because I wasn't sure what was happening. It just pop and it blew that thing out of there, and then it was like a spray hose of finish coming out of there. So I'm a little bit disappointed that what used to be Deft spray lacquer, now rebranded as Prolux. It's a PPG product, but I just heard that PPG, I think, has gotten rid of their architectural division. Maybe the new people will fix it. I don't know. But I don't think it's these guys. They've changed the formula, which really sucks because for years I've used this stuff. It was branded Deft. But yeah, just a little update on that. I don't know. I don't know if I got to find a different spray lacquer. I like this stuff because it is true nitrocellulose lacquer. It's super good stuff. It just didn't spray worth a crap. Donna's here. Donna says, hey, coffee up, Donna. Good morning. Coffee up. Mine's not quite gone yet, so that's an extra bonus. Kizzy's here too. Kizzy, OMG, I'm so late. OMG, Kizzy, where have you been? No, it's fine. Glad you made it. Right on. What's going on? Robert talking about the frame said, me either. I did not figure it out until I went to put a painting I had done in the frame. I measured the sides, and that's when I found my error. That is kind of wild. That all the joints fit really well, but yet something was askew. You like that? Askew? Sam says, where are you ordering your beanies from now that a certain country is out of the question? I don't know. I just try to find wherever I can find locally. We'll see. I've got my same one from last year, but it still doesn't fit the same as the one that I've been wearing for years and years and years. It's finally getting worn out. I don't know. I'll be on the lookout. I might be asking all of you, hey, what kind of beanies you got around in your area? I don't want to think about that, Sam, but you brought it up. It is going to be beanie season before long, and I'm not happy about that. So, if any of you happen to know of a beanie that I don't want the fold-up kind, I've got a couple of those. Those are great for being outside, just playing in the snow, or, being literally out there doing stuff. But just for general wear, I like a beanie. I don't like the short ones, right? I need a beanie that comes down and covers my ears. So it's got to be a longer beanie. Not super thick, but not paper thin either. So if anybody's got let me know. I might be ordering a bunch of different beanies or from trying to find ones that I really like. Because the one that I got a new one last year, which fits really good, but it's already kind of starting to pill up a little bit. And my favoritist one in the history of the universe never pilled up. It didn't do any of that. Unfortunately, that's the one that I like the most. It's gotten worn out. That came from a local clothing company out of Denver. And I've had that thing for years and years and years. But way back when I was playing in Denver all the time with my original band, they gave us a whole bunch of their clothing, trying to get us to wear them and all that sort of stuff. And I totally we did. But one of the things was the beanie, and that was my favoriteest beanie. Well, the clothing company's gone. I can't find even any information about it. I can't even find like a contact from way back in the day, because I would have contacted them and said, hey, where'd you get these? I know you're not in business anymore, but yeah. So looking up that manufacturer is not an option because they don't exist. So yeah, I don't know, Sam. I'm going to be on the hunt for more beanies. Robert says, when I did my shopping yesterday, the temperature was in the mid-60s, and it was great. Yes, that's where we're going to be. 60s, early 70s. That's what I was going to say. Low to mid-70s, I think, for today and tomorrow. Paul says, do you have a coffee grinder? Yes, we do have a coffee grinder. I hardly ever use it, but we do have one. If not, I got a hammer. And a blender and a food processor, and we'll grind it up some way or another. What was that? Was that a raccoon I just ran across? I think it was a cat. Anyway. Yeah, so anybody's got a good lead on some beanies, let me know. Because unfortunately, it's not going to be that long. Probably, I'm going to guess, month and a half. I'll be in beanies nonstop till next May. Which I hate that thought. Ah, so depressing. Paul says, the wife and I went on a late night ride. Last night was a nice 73 degrees. Ah, it's perfect. Perfect. Sam says, I like American vacuum packing. You don't hear the sucking of air, you hear a loud. Robert says, it's currently 65 degrees, feel like 69 and raining. We had a good rainy day yesterday. We're 68 degrees right now. So, thunderstorms possible. Yeah, we've got 4 or 5 more days of this cooler weather and raininess, which I'll take because it was getting really dry. But anyway, now that we got this stuff done, I gotta get to working on some next projects. And at the moment, I'm not 100% sure what those are going to be. I do want to try to make some of these out of wood. So I think that's going to be coming up at some point. That's part of the reason that this is designed the way it is. This is conveniently 3/4 of an inch thick, because I knew worst case, I could buy 3/4 inch lumber and make these. I don't think it'd be all that bad, but I would have to build a jig for the CNC machine because there's no way I'm going to try to cut this groove by hand. I'll probably use my fret slot cutting blade or a bit to cut these, but I want to make some of these. Definitely probably won't be as many as I'm making the plastic ones, but I want to try to make them out of wood as the deluxe version. You know, then we'll throw it on the laser, burn the same kind of text in there. I just think that'd be awesome. So that's something that I want to do. There was a couple other things that we talked about, and I know I wrote some of those down. I can't find my notes on that though. I don't know what I've done with them. So if you have made a suggestion on some video ideas, by all means, let me know some things that you might want to see. Because now, like I said, now that I'm caught up, I got to get back at it. Get some things back in the works. I've got a few ideas. I was browsing the project list last night, trying to decide what I have on hand. There's also another thing that I need to build. So this is in this plastic bag. Sam was talking about packaging. This is not vacuum packaging, but it's just a poly bag. But I have a little machine that does this. And I need to build a stand for it because there's literally no in-feed or out-feed. So when you're trying to bag this, like the thing wants to flop down, you got to try to hold on to it. So I need to build some sort of a stand for that. I might just do that as a project. Plus it'd be another opportunity to kind of, you know, help promote these guys. But I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. So let me know if you guys got something you want to see, something that we talked about earlier and I'm forgetting because I'm getting forgetful. I'm going to tell you. So I have this pair of glasses. You've probably seen me wearing these in a couple of videos. Oh, these things are a mess. But anyway, these are just like shop glasses, right? I keep them out here. They are prescription, but I keep these out here, you know, when I'm working up close and or trying to really pay attention to something. I lost these yesterday. Well, actually, probably was Monday. And I could not find them. And I somehow it got tangled up in like some towels. I use old towels, especially when I'm working on the plaques, you know, to put down on stuff. That way it protects the wood. Well, when I was cleaning those up, these had gotten wrapped up in those towels, and I folded, you know, I kind of tucked them up, put them up out of the way, not knowing these were in there. So I'm looking all over the place trying to find these. I'm getting forgetful, I think. So, yeah, open for project suggestions. Robert says, I'm ready for the cool down for sure. Yeah. Hey, dudes, ready for the warm weather? I know you are, man. Don't worry, it'll be coming your way before long. I'll be digging out the beanie, and you'll be warming up. So, what's the temperature down there right now, Harry, dude? Like how cool is it at the moment? I'm curious. I keep looking at the thermometer trying to get an idea of what's what. But yeah, let me know. What is it right now? Sam says autocorrect kind of messed that up though. Oh, I got you. Robert says I'm ready for a new guitar build, either acoustic or solid body. Not picky. Right on. I am too, Robert. You know what? Maybe I should. I've been talking about this cigar box guitar. Maybe I need to bring that one towards the top of the list, actually. Then I can get that last cigar box that I have used up. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Sam says, I think YouTube is throttling your audience members. Less viewers these days, I've noticed. They may have. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Paul says, finally got all the parts in for the artist build. Now time to start making it. Adding 2 carbon fiber rods to the neck for strength. And did I mention how much I hate stainless steel frets? Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people talk about stainless steel frets. I'm perfectly fine with the nickel silver. I don't know. I don't even know if I have a guitar with stainless steel frets. But the carbon fiber rods, I won't build them without dual carbon fiber rods now. I've just come to really appreciate the added stability, the stability of the neck. It's it really makes a big difference. Like you hardly have to adjust anything. Once you get it set, it's almost, in my experience, living in a dry climate, I guess. It's almost set and forget. I don't have to. They just don't change. Now it may be different, right? In other areas where you got more humidity swings. Like right now is probably the highest humidity we ever get throughout a year, and I don't even know what it is at the moment. Let's see what the this thing says. Humidity. It's got to show it down here somewhere. It says we're at 53%, and like literally the ground is soaked at the moment. And it's never that high, except for right now when we've had rain for a few days. It just doesn't move. Those carbon fiber rods are incredible. Heritage says 9.1 degrees. Feels like 5.4. 9.1. Let's see. What's that? 48? It's like 48 degrees. Right? Am I looking at that right? Roughly? Yeah. Feels like 5.4. So that's 40, about 40. That's getting pretty chilly. You're still above freezing though, so could be worse, I guess. Oh, let's see. Robert says that would work well. Cigar box guitar. Nice. Yes, maybe that's what we'll have to do. I'm sure I don't have tuners, but that's fine. We'll get tuners. Maybe I do have tuners. I'll have to look. Paul says so much harder to dress than the nickel frets. Yeah, because they don't want to. It takes a lot more work. Harry dude, give me stainless steel frets any day. Love them. I only do refrets in stainless steel. Otherwise, it's like mowing the lawn. You're gonna have to do it again. Fair enough. Yeah, that's what I hear. They last so much longer. I haven't taken the leap. I have done the gold frets, which I think are harder than nickel silver, but I didn't think they were bad. Now I didn't do the true Evo Gold. I used the Stu Mac ones. I forget what theirs are called, because the Evo Gold I guess is gone. I don't know. Sam, test comment. Checking out an error on the tablet. Test success. I see the comment. Remember last week? I think it was when I showed you the old broken laptop here. Well, now that I'm done with the tab or the plaques, I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything with this or not. This has been running Lightburn. We were talking about Lightburn earlier. This has been my Lightburn laptop. I thought about seeing if I could get a junk one of these just to replace the hinges, because it still works and it works good for Lightburn. I just don't know if it's worth messing with. What do you guys think? The hinge, I mean, it's totally broken. It's held on by one hinge over here. I don't know if it's worth messing with. The screen is fairly new. I did replace that. I don't know. It's been something I've been kicking around. Hate to throw the whole thing away, but it's really getting busted up. It's got a new solid state hard drive. The memory's been recently maxed out. I don't know. You think it's worth messing with? If you buy a broken one online, maybe the screen's broken, but the hinges are good. Swap everything over. I don't know. Or do I just call it good and toss it? I don't know. Let me know what you think. What would you do? I don't know if it's worth messing with or not. Paul says, take old PC, get a monitor, make a back mount for it, and mount it. You can get a video out of that. Use that as with an external monitor. What'd I do with it though? Yeah, I know what you mean. What would I use it for? I need some more ideas on that one. I'm not against that at all. Robert says, I think I'm going to have to go to the eye doctor. The glasses I currently have, I think, are about 6 years old. The coating on the lens is coming off and messes with the vision. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got to get another one too. It seems like I've been getting a new prescription every year because they keep changing it. Like, there's stuff that I'm not happy with. So I'm probably going to have to get a new one too. This is actually like 3 prescriptions ago, but it still works just fine. So I keep these out here. I've got another pair that I wear a fair bit inside the house. That's the most updated prescription. But the lens is smaller on my other pair, and they're actually progressive because I don't want to have to put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off. So I got the progressive lenses so that I can still just leave them on once I put them on. Like if I'm working on a guitar, I'm wearing them, but I don't want to have to take them off to go do anything else and then put them back on. So I get the progressive lens, but the ones I have right now, the lens is smaller. So the field of view is super tiny, and I didn't realize this was going to be the case. So it's really annoying. Like if you're a tiny degree off of that field of view, you can't see anything. And I should have gotten the, unfortunately, more expensive lens, which has a wider field of view. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do this year. It's just a pain. Hey, dude, says remove the screen, run an external screen, keep it to run the machine. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I want to keep it around because it's been working good. Yes, I can install the same programs and stuff on this, but that one works really well, and it's what I've been doing with it for the last couple years. I just hate that the hinge broke. Sam says, don't push your buttons, and she won't like it. Here it says, I've swapped the MacBook screen, replaced the whole screen and lid. Don't even think about removing the screen from the case. Replace the whole assembly if you have to. Sam, perhaps make wooden frames for the glasses. That would be pretty interesting. 3D printed. How about that? Yeah, I don't know. I might look and see if I can find one that's like a stupid cheap one on eBay or something that's the same model, and then go from there. Just look around. Maybe some sort of a project. I don't even care if the screen's broken because that screen is not broken. It's brand new. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I just hate to throw it away. That's the problem I get into, right? I do not like throwing anything away. Even a broken computer. I'm like, well, it still works good. Yes, it's held together with duct tape and the hinges don't... I don't want to throw it away. You know the feeling, right? That's how we end up with all kinds of extra stuff. Isn't that like the beginning of being a hoarder? Oh, anyway. Well, guys, I think it's about time we get to wrapping this up. I need to finish getting the video scheduled so you guys have something to watch this weekend. It's really just going to be, like I said, an overview sort of these plaques. Kind of talking a little bit about it and then talking a little bit about these shedders. So, again, if you guys haven't checked out the website, HB Equine. Oh, yeah. Hey, dude, remember that we were talking about, actually, all of us, we were talking about it last week, about splitting up the calendar and the live events thing on the website. I've split that up. Got that on there, 2 different things. I'm also working on another page right now, on and off. But I did split those into 2, and I like that way better. So thank you to those of you that suggested I split those 2 pages up. But go take a look. Even... you don't have to buy, but take a look, and I want feedback. Anyway, Sam says print a laptop case. Ooh, yeah. Harry Dude says, if you already know how to replace the screen, you're steps ahead. Robert says, the expense of the lens on my glasses, the last 2 sets of lenses are about $840. Kept the frames. Yes, isn't that so? It's ridiculous. The cost of the dang, even glasses. Like, you kidding me? That's why on the pair I was talking about that I have right now, I didn't spend the extra money. And I should have, but I'm like, well, that's way too much more. But this year I'm going to end up having to spend it because the narrow field of view is super annoying. It's ridiculous. Sam says, thank you for the fantastic stream today, Jeff. Sam, thank you for being a fantastic viewer. Thank you for being a part of this fantastic stream. Thank you for making this stream fantastic, Sam, and all of you. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. Drizzy Guitar says cheers. Sam says be safe, everyone. Right on, everybody. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you all have an amazing week and you get to spend some time doing the stuff that you enjoy doing. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I hope you get to do it. Playing music, listening to music, building stuff, working in the garden. I don't know what it is, but I hope you have an awesome time doing it. Thank you guys for taking some time to hang out with us here. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Robert says that was like 6 years ago. Yeah, the price is crazy. Sam says glasses can be got on the NHS. Is that like the health service or whatever? Right on. Harry Dude says, cheers, folks. Stay well. Catch you all next week. Right on, everybody. Thank you again. Stay safe. Be well. Get on your shops. Build some cool stuff. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. And we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. See you later. We're out. Back to work.